as I put my hat on, because of the microphone, and I step to the side so that you can read Power Play Garage. And as Puss in Boots enters her way into the whole scenario, and I know she wants me to pet her, and it could be maybe because she wants to get fed. Not really sure, but it is really hot. I mean, really muggy. It's been a real whopper of a day so far. And we're going to start the day off talking about what did not show up today, and I found out on Saturday. It was afternoon sometime. Got the phone call saying that there was a mistake on the order. Don't know really. After I heard that there was a mistake on the order and wasn't coming in, I'm going to be honest. The rest of whatever came in the ear went out the other ear. It's just another part of the silliness I feel, in my opinion, that has taken place. So, but it's supposed to be here tomorrow morning, and when I asked at 11 o'clock. Sounds about right, maybe. But I did some verifying. I always verify. This way, if I'm making a comment, whether I keep it to myself or I display it here on YouTube with you folks and share information so that maybe you'll learn from my dealings, my aspirations, my whatever. Help you learn something on what not to do and what to do, possibly. That's if you want to. So, that's okay. No worries. Still moving forward. I'm going to show you just in a moment how far and where the frame is actually at, because it's not in its prior location. And boy, I got to tell you, it is hot and muggy. It's almost like it's hard to breathe, is how stuffy it is. I don't know if I've ever felt it this bad. Really, and I'm constantly working out in the building, outdoors. And today feels like a whopper of a day. So, in the meantime, prior to bringing and moving and doing of the frame, I had to take care of a couple of the things. So I'm going to show you, and I'm going to point out what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, let's do that. And as you can see, where the frame was, not no more. Yeah, I figured I'm going to move ahead, get things set up. There's Miss Puss in Boots. She gave me the approval of doing what I'm doing. I think she wants to get fed. It's a good possibility. It's probably about that time. And as you can see, the spray booth is up, blowing up. That was only so I can get my rolling rack in here for how high it is on both ends. It's on wheels. It's got hooks on it, different levels, so that I can hang the parts that need to hang on there so that I can paint what needs to be painted. In the meantime, I brought the engine hoist in, I brought a jack in, and also I brought in an engine stand. And I came up with a brilliant idea, I think, I hope, I'm sure it'll work, to use this engine stand to keep this frame up in the air. So I'm going to loosen up these bolts, lift these up higher and a little bit of an angle. And I'm going to put a bolt throughout the front of that hole there, and the same thing over there, and it'll stick out more than enough for me to hook a chain to it, and then take the jack, lift this up that high, up to this height here, real close to it, and that'll make it really comfortable for me to spray underneath the frame and get the leaf springs. I will not be spraying the axle because it's pretty chrome, and the wheels will be coming off once it's up in the air. I did put down this plastic first, but this plastic will not stay in here. Once the frame is rolled out, I will be applying paper down for the cab and the rest of the parts to get painted. Yeah, this is fine, because even though there will be a mist of overspray on there, there will be no paint directed spray on there, so I won't have to worry about if I step on it or if the wind is blowing or whatever and flake the overspray, so to speak, off, and maybe, land on my clear coat. So in the past, done the same thing, worked out well, and knowing how high this is going to be, I feel very safe in doing that. And then the engine hoist, which is right here, I'll roll that over, and I will hook up the hook from the engine hoist to this and lift this thing up in the air. I'm going to be hanging this part. I got to find some place to put this. This is actually a factory lifting block for my Dodge truck. I believe this measures out 4 inches, maybe 4.5, I'm not sure. But I have this rolled tape because the areas that you see here will be painted black, and everything you see between green and the blue will not be painted. And that will actually end up and be yellow, kind of as it is. Yeah, that's right. Client wants that to be highlighted, and highlighted it will be. And this is the front part for the fenders. It'll be black. Where my water container is, that will be black. So stuff like that will be hanging here. I got to hang the grill up over here. Probably going to hang it towards the top. Lower this bar down. Make sure I got enough room. And the rack will be wherever I feel comfortable putting it. I have plenty of room in here to set all that up. And plenty of light too, even though the lights aren't on. But in my prior videos when I painted, you've seen those lights on, and it really brightens this up. And even including those little ones. But I actually have one big extra one left. And I believe I might have mentioned it before. I'll show you. I ordered 6 of these 52,000 aluminum round lights. I don't want to, you get an idea. I ordered 6. So 3 I put up first. I wanted on one switch. And then the last 2 at the end will be put up. I'll be on a separate switch. And then that third one, I'm going to hang inside when I do the body of the car over the middle of it. Even the really, it'd be like the sun was shining in there. And Puss in Boots is cleaning her tail. And if she was paying attention, she would agree. Right, Puss in Boots? Well, yeah, she wants to eat. I'll feed her. She's a good kitty. Well, kitty, what you doing? She doesn't know what she's doing. Stay cool, kitty. Drink plenty of water. You got plenty of water in there. So, once I'm done doing all that, getting this thing up in the air and the wheels are off, I'm going to chime back in. I'm going to put some cardboard underneath there because tomorrow, when the gears come in, we will be doing them in here. That's the reason why I figured I'll just get this set up now, and I can keep moving. That's the whole idea. Keep moving on this project, and this way I can get it done. So once that chunk is in, everything is set, then it's party time with the sealer, and then party time with the color, and then once again the clear. Yeah, she's going to be awesome. And that's pretty much what we're looking for. So until I get this thing up in the air and moving and doing what I want, stand by. Okay. As you can see, I got the cherry picker back here, engine hoist, whatever you want to call it. It's way up in the air. I got a brace here. I think it's got a really tiny slow leak, so I don't want it settling, and that keeps that in place. And my jig that I made up, because this was already here, like I mentioned once before, I tapped it out, had a bolt, and used my other application, keep that up in the air. So I'm going to pull the wheels off, and as you can see, I got the front done. 2 jack stands on the chrome part of where the axle goes, so even though it's going to be all papered off, they will not be in the way. I'm using a engine hoist to keep the front end of the frame up, which is working out well. I feel as though spray room from the bottom up to the underneath the leaf springs and the clearance in the frame, I think we're golden. And this being, a single hole in the center with 2 chains, it gives me the access around the frame. And that's really all I'm looking for, is to be able to freely get around and spray it all. And these wheels are going to be coming off next. So that's what I'm doing next. I'm going to go grab my gun and the tool, take them off, and bring the wheels inside, out of the booth. Coming out of the booth. Adam Sandler did a skit once with Toll Booth Willie. Now, if y'all don't remember that, I don't know how to tell you how to look it up, but it was one of his skits and had to do with a guy working in a toll booth. It's pretty funny. So I'm coming out of the booth. That's one of his lines because he's going to go after somebody that abused him. So if you know what I'm talking about, you'll probably reference that, maybe get a little chuckle. But as you can see, I'm ready to pull the wheels off. So I'm going to go do that right now. Take them off, lighten the load on all of that, and get them out of here, and I'll chime back in. So hang tight. Stand by. Alrighty, the wheels are off the back and off the front. Obviously, made it a little bit lighter for the back. Not that it was a big deal. Engine hoist can handle, I think, 1,500 pounds, something like that. And the front, they're off, but it gives me more room. I'm going to probably pop off the steering linkage. It's basically, actually 3 bolts and 3 cotter pins, and get it out of the way. And this way I don't have to cover it. It'd be quicker to drop it and put it back on than it would be to actually cover it. And then it gives me a little more freedom underneath there to spray. But I'm not going to cover the drum because they're going to be removed. We got disc brakes coming, so that setup will be going on there after this is painted. And then I'm going to remove the rubber brake line off the front as well as the one in the back. So this way they don't have to worry about covering it or being in the way when I go to spray it. So that's going to be the plan. That's going to be the scoop. So whether I do that after dinner or tomorrow morning as I'm waiting for Daniela to show up with the gears. And I will be bringing some cardboard in here because I cannot have any oil or grease or anything like that. Even though there isn't any oil or grease or gear oil in there, I just don't want to risk any sort of dirt in that type of dirt, whether it's oil, gear oil, or grease being left in here, because that will cause possibility, a good cause of fisheye. So I'm going to put the cardboard down here so that no mess is made in here, and I'm ready to go. So until the next phase of this, or the next step, whether tonight or tomorrow morning, stand by. Okay, I'm back, and it's the next day, and time is always on my mind. So I made one change, and it was for the better because it was based on time. I said I wasn't going to remove the front axle, but I did, only because of how much time it was taking me, and I just went a short way with taping up part. It would have been this side here. I was taping up around, the U-bolts and stuff. So after experimenting to see what it was going to take without getting too far into it, I decided to take the total of 8 bolts out of the U-bolts, disconnect the 2 brake lines, and that'd be the end of it. Roll it out from underneath the frame, and then I have a lot more free access. It will make it a little easier when it comes to spraying it, and I'll just drape a sheet or something over that so no overspray sits on it. And before it goes on there, actually, I'll take some superfine steel wool and clean it up nice, because it is pretty nice still. So I like to use, which might seem strange, aluminum foil. I decided not to disconnect that line. It really wasn't in the way. So if you need something that's that when you go to wrap it needs to stay tight so that you have more freedom for the paint to get around it, aluminum foil really works really well, because you know how it is. You can just roll it up into a ball and it'll stay that way. Where paper, when you go to put it on there, it gets a little thicker. But with aluminum foil, it's even easier to wrap it, even though paper wouldn't have made much of a difference on that. But it just made it easier for me to use aluminum foil and wrap around it. I suggest buying Reynolds wrap, believe it or not, the kind that you get from the dollar store, which now is a $1.25 store. That it's a lot thinner, and it's a little cheap to work with. So the regular stuff that you get at your grocery store works better, and it'll go a long way. So right now, I even have the cardboard down. The gears are coming today. They will be put in today, and once that's done tomorrow, I will be taking all that I need to do when it comes to putting the adhesive on it, putting the sealer on it, putting the color on it, putting the clear on it. Tomorrow's the day. I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow being Wednesday. And I even put a little bit of aluminum foil around my bolt. I didn't really want any paint on the threads, because then I have to spend time cleaning it. But I don't care if this gets painted, and then maybe it'll slow down the rust. But now I'm going to hang some parts on the rack that I made once upon a time. And once all the things are hanged, and that'll be it until the gears show up and we install them. So that's the scoop for now, and I'll chime back in once things are rolling along. So in the meantime, stand by. All right, here we are, and I have all the parts that are going to be black hanging from the rack. 2 rows, one up there, one down here. This takes up a lot of space. All one piece, that's fine. And all those pieces there, including a couple of washers. One right there, and one right there. And the dry shaft hanging. All sanded, clean. We're ready to go. So, just one more item left. Chunk in the rear. And then tomorrow, blast away. And I did cover the rear. The front axle. Yeah, she's covered, protected, all ready to rock and roll. So for now, stand by. Alright, it's the next day, and it's Wednesday. For me, a very exciting day, a happy day, because as I am showing you the setup, the venting, the power venting to bring the exhaust out, and the air conditioning running in, everything, it hopefully is in its place. Oh yeah, the AC is going really cold. It is set on, I don't know, 73 maybe. And I'm trying something a little different. You can see the ladder there, the bungee cord wrapped around the tube, facing it up and let it circle around. Before, I was letting it just pretty much exhaust along the floorway, and I think that was creating a little bit a difference in temperature between the top, the middle, and of course the bottom. So heat rises, so if I can push the heat and get it to come down to get exhaust out, I'm thinking maybe. And the fact that I don't have that actually blowing on the floor, maybe if there's any little bit of dust or whatever, this way it won't kick it up. So I'm trying this method, and I think it's going to be a good one. I have that fan on as well. I got these lights on, 2 lights here. It's pretty sunny and bright out. I don't need any more lighting. It's all good. My exhaust fans are on, and I'm hoping that they don't shut off. They have in the past, and just maybe I actually remedied that. They're on their own circuits. I ran an additional power inside my building from the box all the way down to this end, which would be the east end of the building, and 2 separate outlets, and 12-3 with ground, split them off, 2 separate receptacles, 2 separate circuit breakers. 15 amps were more than it was needed for these blowers, so I'm thinking that it needed to be like that. So I'm hoping that that's the case, and that I'm able to keep those exhaust fans going the whole time I want them to. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to be spraying everything down with adhesive promoter, and then I'm going to go right to the sealer. So I'm going to get started on that, and once the sealer is actually on, I'll chime back in, and we'll go from there. And it is feeling comfortable in here, so hopefully the humidity is out, the temperature is coming down, because it's supposed to be 95 degrees today, and it definitely feels it. I'm sure it is. So in the meantime, stand by. Okay, I'm back, and the sealer has been applied. Yep. And the setup hasn't been functioning 100%. Can't figure it out. It's not as bad as it was before in my prior paint work, but I got to figure something out here, especially when it comes time to paint the body. So, the one thing I didn't mention, now you can see it, the chunk is back in with the same gears that were in it before, and reason being is you cannot buy anything lower to give you what you're looking for this size 10 bolt out of a 64 Corvette. Pretty sure it's 64, could be a little older, but it came out of a Corvette. You can't get anything lower. The 3 times that gears were sent, the pinion, the other end that attaches to the ring gear, is way too big. It just wouldn't work. So we opt to put it back in and to give the client what she's looking for, what she's on board with, is to change the transmission. So instead of doing the 350 turbo, we're going to go with the 700 R4 and go from there, and the first gen, because it's all mechanical. So that's the scoop on that. This is all ready to rock and roll with the color. It's now, let's see how long has it been flash time. Yeah, let's see, flash time. I was done spraying this about 5 minutes after. 1, 2, I'd say it's been flashing for 40 minutes, 50 minutes flash time. Yeah, 50 minutes of flash time. And by the time I get the paint mixed up, get the paint mixed up and get in here and start shooting, it'll probably be an hour. So let me get in there, get it all mixed up, get it rocking and rolling, and put this baby on fire. That's next. Stand by. Okay, I'm back. And actually, that looks glossy, but that doesn't mean the primer's on there. It's definitely not. That's just the base coat color. Yep, there it is. All the sun's or the light's reflecting. Yep, this is void black, and it's been sitting here now, flashed. I'd say an hour and 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And I'm fixing to mix up the clear, super wet clear on this, and get it done. Yep, I'm going to go over it a few times. Yep. All this stuff here is all ready to go. And actually, I want to point out, in case you're all interested in this wicked black, is, you know, it actually looks like it's got clear on it. You got to be careful when you're laying down any color, especially with round objects like the rear and then the bars right there. You can't lay it on that heavy like wet, because you'll end up running it. On the flat stuff, you can go a little bit more. That's just my personal opinion. But this company here, which is Auto Paint HD, yeah, I actually wear this hat now all the time shooting a video, so that you can see where I get the product from. I'm really happy with this company. Y'all can choose to get it where you like. I just figured I'd put that information out there. They're really easy to work with. They ship it right to your door. Obviously, you got to make sure you order it ahead of time. But and what I did was, on the 2 sections that you're really going to see, I added a bit of a twist. Basically, from here as you can see, up to the front, all the way around, over to here, underneath the leaf springs. I added on the last shoot of the black, which would be the third coat, I added a gold pearl in it. Not a lot, just enough so that when the sun hits it, you'll be able to see it. And then I also put it on the back side, a little bit around it of the rear, because the car kind of sits up some, and you might be able to catch a glimpse of it. So I kind of wanted to highlight the areas that you really see, because the majority of this you don't, but I wanted to make sure that the area where the engine sits, it'll have more bling. Just a little pointer, what I did. Absolutely. It's hard to tell because, it's kind of in here. I think once the clear goes on it, I'll be able to see more. Look how that shines. Yeah, there's no clear on this yet. No clear. And the guy said, you're going to think that there was clear on it. And he was right. So, the fellow I speak to a lot is David. He has a partner, Jeff. So, that's the scoop. Let me get busy. I got to lay down some clear. So, stand by. Alrighty. The clear coat is done. And the one thing I want to mention, take a moment out and use the phrase that I use commonly. And once again, not being sponsored by Auto Paint HD. I'm just telling you the way I see it. I'm not being sponsored by anybody at this point. No tool companies, no supply companies of any kind. But I just thought I'd mention that again. I just like your product. I'm very comfortable with it. I've used various products over the years of time, and that's just what I like. So here it is. It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, and I can see the metallic, or I should say the pearl mix. It's not heavy, but because of the light shining, I can catch a glimpse of it. Yeah, I'm loving it. Came out super duper nice. Absolutely. And look at that. It's very, very difficult to spray this frame on any level. In this position to where you can get it all without stripping everything off. It's very hard. Very difficult. You're talking about adhesive promoter, sealer, color more than once, more than twice, 3 times color, and then a few coats over and over again with the clear. And laying on the ground, shooting up, trying to get it, and make sure that the spray gun and the cup doesn't hit nothing. Yeah, you got to be real cautious and take your time and make it happen. And she came out super duper nice. I definitely concentrated more on the areas that would be seen, and even though I did focus on top stuff where it'll be covered for the life of the car, but I felt it was more important to lay more material on the areas seen. That's just me. That's my opinion. That's how I do it. I don't want to waste product. As long as it's being protected, as far as I'm concerned, I believe that works. So as you can see, it is super duper nice. And even that emblem, which I will be taking the tape off and then taping over the black so I can get the yellow and the gold pearl on it. And there's that front piece. And most likely you really won't see much of any of that. The fenders go over this whole side, over the whole sides, and the radiator and everything. So there's not much to really see on that. These pieces here, the ones I made, you will see them underneath the car. So they got covered really nice. The client wanted these housings that hold the headlights. She wanted them black, and black they are. The grille, gorgeous. I don't see any runs. Nice and clear. So the grille, I threw on the third coat, I threw the mix of the gold into the black on the grill, like I said, on the rear, and on the front clip where the engine bay is. So this way it really popped. So that's going to actually end this segment of this video. Absolutely. And let's get away from the light. Let's shine down on the frame there. Woo, baby. Look at that frame. Let me see if I can get in focus. There it is. Something like that. But I do appreciate people watching. If you all would subscribe, that's definitely helpful. And I hope some of the information I gave you could be helpful. Definitely, I try. There's certain things that I don't know if you can really specify certain things, but I do my best. And in the meantime, until the next segment, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to cover. Ooh, I feel some clear coat on this lower end. Boy, I'm going to have to scrub the heck out of that. But we'll see what the next segment brings, which will be Sunday. Tomorrow's Thursday. So definitely putting it back together. That'll be part of the next one. And rolling it out of here. And then cleaning this whole thing out. The whole booth's got to be pressure washed again. And get rid of the plastic on the floor. And just get everything ready for the base of the car to come in. That's definitely it's a little time consuming there, but well worth it. And that's why I wanted to do the frame first. It makes less of a mess, and knowing I'm going to pressure wash it again, I'd rather do it this way. Now that's ready. And but until then, try to get something done. Thanks for watching.